Live from WTOC, the Southeast News Leader. The News at 4 starts now.
Thank you for joining us here on The News at 4. I'm Mike Sela. It is Election Day in South Carolina for the state primaries. WTOC has live team coverage keeping track of the top races in today's primary election. Our Madeline Bierster is out talking with voters. Shay Schrader is in Charleston tracking the state's top election, also the race for governor. Our Stephanie Atkinson and Julianne Sheehan are tracking the Republican and Democratic candidates looking to take the U.S. House District 1 seat. Let's start with Madeline. What are the voters telling you as they head out to vote?
Well, Mike, we're just right here near the Board of Voter Registration. A lot of people coming here mistakenly thinking they can vote at this location, but actually finding out where their precinct is. We went to several other voting sites and it's been pretty slow but steady. Hasn't taken people more than 10 minutes really to get in and out of a voting site. Mostly you just go in, show your ID, they ask Democrat or Republican, and then things go from there. You head to that voting site and make your voice count. So we've spoken with a couple people. They said you can't complain if you don't come out and vote. That's really how simple it is. Poll workers I talked to say they expect people to come around 5 o'clock when they get off work, so they expect traffic to pick up around then. And if everybody is there at the same time, they're just asking for patience. They want this election to go smoothly. They want everybody to get along, but no big issues so far at any of the polling sites we've been to. Those polls close at 7 again, as you know, but if you're in line at 7 o'clock, you're also good to go. Been speaking with voters who told me things have been going smooth, even pulling up and not being able to get out of the vehicle. I spoke with one handicapped man. They came to him and let him cast his ballot in his car. So we're going to continue to talk to people throughout the evening and bring you the latest from Beaufort County at the top of each hour. Reporting live in Beaufort County, Madeline Bierster, WTOC News.
Well, one of the races we're going to be watching very closely tonight is that for South Carolina governor. As you know, there are many people in that race. One of those is the current Congresswoman for the South Carolina 1st Congressional District, Nancy Mace, who is vying for a spot on the Republican ticket in November. Our Shay Schrader joins us live in Charleston, where Mace will be hosting a watch party tonight. Shay?
Mike, that watch party starts at 7 when the polls close, and we are expecting an influx of Mace supporters to come out and see how this night plays out. Mace is the current 1st Congressional District Congresswoman, and she is one of the most prominent and well-known, as well as most controversial politicians in South Carolina. She's known for being outspoken and willing to break with Republican colleagues when she finds it necessary. She's been in the national spotlight a lot recently, as she is one of the few Republicans advocating for the release of the Epstein files and any information the federal government might have on alien life. But despite those efforts on the national front, Mace says that she is needed in South Carolina, where she believes there needs to be a change of leadership in the governor's mansion. If elected governor, Mace has said that she would like to eliminate the state income tax, would like to expand and improve roads and infrastructure, as well as expand South Carolina's school choice program and bring more conservative policies into South Carolina's educational system. However, it's not going to be a straight shot to the governor's mansion. Mace is running in a very crowded Republican primary with several other prominent names, including current Attorney General Alan Wilson and current Lieutenant Governor Pamela Yvette, who has President Trump's endorsement. However, political analysts are expecting this race to potentially head to a runoff. Mace, as well as several of her competitors, have already committed to partaking in a debate. If that's the case, we are going to keep an eye on that throughout the night. But for now, live in Charleston, Shay Schrader, WTOC News.
And since Nancy Mace is running for governor, that means South Carolina's 1st Congressional District is up for grabs, and the GOP has a packed ballot for those looking to fill that spot. Our Stephanie Atkinson joins us live from Charleston, where multiple candidates are still campaigning. Stephanie, what's the race looking like?
Yeah, Mike, just like you said, this GOP side of things is packed with 10 different Republican candidates, all fighting for a spot in Washington to represent the Low Country. Joining me now is Jenny Honeycutt. Jenny, what is setting you apart from the several other candidates that are also running for this seat?
I'm a wife, I'm a mom, I'm a small business owner. I grew up right here in the Low Country. This is home for me. I love this place, I love these people, and I'm ready to represent them.
Amazing. If you do get to Washington, what is something that you want to start off right off the bat?
Addressing the economy. First and foremost, we have to address the affordability issue we're facing across the Low Country and across the whole country.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much, Jenny. We really appreciate it. We will continue to follow the District 1 primary throughout the afternoon. Live in Charleston, Stephanie Atkinson, WTOC News.
Thank you, Stephanie. Well, WTOC's Julianne Sheehan is live in Mount Pleasant, South Carolina. And Julianne, you've been following the Democratic candidates that are vying for that first congressional seat in South Carolina. What can you tell us?
Well, Mike, there are 7 candidates that are vying for Nancy Mace's seat. Now, there are a lot of newcomers in this race, 5 out of the 7 never having held or ran for political office before. Now, when South Carolina voters are heading into the ballot box, they will see those new names on their ballot. Nancy LaCour, Matthew Fulmer, Max Diaz, Francina Dantzler, and Mayra Rivera Vasquez are all running for office for the first time. The other 2 candidates, Max Defford and Ben Frazier, have run to serve in the U.S. House before. Frazier running more than a dozen times since 1972. He secured the nomination in 2010. Defford ran in 2024 but fell short in the primary. Now, Democrats have an uphill battle in the general election. This race comes after the state Senate voted against redistricting across South Carolina. In the 2024 presidential election, District 1 leaned Republican in voter turnout. The last time that a Democrat won this seat was in 2018. Now, we will continue to cover who is pulling ahead in this race once these polls close, so be sure to stick with us for those updates. Live in Mount Pleasant, Julianne Sheehan, WTOC News.
All right, thank you, Julianne. Right now, we do want to get a check of that first alert forecast, checking out the temperature and how things are shaping up here on our Savannah South Side. Carrie Hilliard Skycam, and we are seeing a lot of that sunshine, and look at that, we're hitting 90 right there. Let's check in with meteorologist Jamie Ertl for the latest.
90s will be, our friend, but they will be with us until at least Monday. And we're tracking feels like temperatures near 100. A couple of first alert weather days because of potential dangerous heat. We'll get to that in just a bit. It's 90 in Savannah, as Mike just mentioned, 90 Statesboro, 91 Claxton, 92 Beaufort and Richmond Hill. Let's go ahead and take a look at that date night forecast because yes, it may be a voting day, but it's also Taco Tuesday. We're in the 80s until at least at 9 p.m. and temperatures about 77 at 10 p.m. for maybe that last jog walk of the evening. Let's go ahead and take a look at our Farrah and Farrah First Alert live radar as well. I was tracking a lone downpour between Claxton and Reedsville, but it rained itself out. Very low end rain chances for the rest of the evening. I'll have your complete First Alert forecast coming up in minutes.
Well, in Georgia, a new $100 million lawsuit is now part of the Republican race for Georgia governor. Lieutenant Governor Burt Jones's family company is suing his runoff rival, billionaire Rick Jackson, for libel. Jones Petroleum filed the defamation case in Fulton County, claiming Jackson's campaign ads falsely paint the company as part of an illegal casino and criminal racketeering operation. The company says the attacks threaten its franchise deals and 2,000 jobs. Jackson's camp calls the suit baseless and retaliatory, saying it should be dismissed as the two head toward a runoff for the GOP nomination for governor. Well, make sure WTOC is your go-to by setting us as your preferred source on Google today. Just go to any story on WTOC.com and click Add as a Preferred Source on Google below the byline. That way, WTOC will be your first result when searching for the local latest news. Coming up on The News at 4, Savannah Mayor Van Johnson says he's working to build the relationship between young people and police and keep teens out of trouble this summer. You're going to hear more from him up next.
Welcome back. Getting a check of that traffic as we start the evening commute, and we're already seeing increased traffic here on Dean Forest Road between 21 and Highway 80. A little bit of a slowdown on 21 northbound and southbound approaching Dean Forest. And so that's a switch up, and we'll watch that carefully to see if that turns to orange or red and alert you to any accidents out there. 95 looking fantastic after snarled yesterday. And then heading into the low country, 95 looks good there as well. Intermittent traffic east and westbound on 278 in Bluffton.
Today, Savannah Mayor Van Johnson says the city is working to get police officers involved in the community. Our Cam McCann joins us live in the studio to talk more about this. And Cam, the mayor says initiatives going on this summer are really crucial for that.
Yeah, Mike, and these initiatives come at an important time as the temperature heats up all across Savannah. So does violent crime. Now that they have these programs, it's about making sure that they're impactful programs. One of the biggest hurdles is gaining trust. The city's Beyond the Badge program allows young adults to simulate training, investigation, and other duties. Johnson says that shows attendees that police are people.
We want our law enforcement to be viewed as a part of the community because they are. And so for me, humanizing the badge is helping people understand the badge. So that helps us get that word out about what this is and what this is all about. And I would encourage all of y'all to try to stimulate it too.
Their summer initiatives are aimed at the youth for one reason: build trust early. The timing is intentional with kids out of school. Just last week, they held an event for the youth on Gun Violence Awareness Day. Now, Mayor Johnson and Police Chief Lenny Gunther believe these are making a difference in young kids around Savannah. The mayor also talked with me about issues with affordable housing. I'll have more on the news at 5 about why that issue needs increased federal funding. But in the studio, Cam McCann, WTOC News.
Thank you, Cam. This afternoon, we are getting our first look at the soldier accused in a shooting incident that happened at Fort Stewart on Monday. I want to show you the picture of Sergeant Christopher Dandridge. We're told the 24-year-old still behind bars after a shooting that led to a lockdown at Fort Stewart yesterday. Arrest records show Dandridge is facing 2 counts of aggravated assault, breach of peace, 2 counts of communicating a threat, failure to obey orders, reckless conduct, and domestic violence strangulation. He is currently at the Liberty County Jail without bond. The U.S. military says 2 soldiers are in stable condition after a helicopter went down near the Strait of Hormuz. The president is now threatening retaliation on Iran for shooting it down. Natalie Brand has more details from the White House.
President Trump says Iran shot down a U.S. Army Apache helicopter on patrol over the Strait of Hormuz last night. CBS News has learned the military deployed a drone to save the 2 crew members. It's the first rescue of its kind.
The pilots are fine, yeah. And nobody injured.
The president posted on social media that the United States must, of necessity, respond to this attack. He did not elaborate on what kind of response he will order. The incident follows a weekend of attacks between Iran and Israel. The president downplayed the flare-up in fighting after a call with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. The incident follows a weekend of attacks between Iran and Israel. President Trump downplayed the flare-up in fighting on Monday after a call with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu.
He was hit, he hit back, and now they've called it quits, so they're going to just leave each other alone for another week or something.
The president said late last night that peace talks with Iran were continuing smoothly and said an agreement could come in days. Ahead of the helicopter incident, critics were skeptical.
For 100 days, Trump has claimed that peace is just days away, only for negotiations to crumble over and over and over again.
Senate Democrats had said they will try and force another vote on a war powers resolution requiring congressional authorization for further military action. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
Straight ahead, after a South Carolina immigration raid led to nearly 50 arrests, one witness is speaking out.
And a live look now from our Georgia Southern Sky Cam. Some fair weather clouds in your neck of the woods. 90 degrees, and it's only going to get hotter. Your first alert forecast after the break. Welcome back. Let's take a look at the temperatures the next 12 hours as we hang out in the upper 80s as we slide into Tuesday evening, and our temperatures slide into the 70s finally by 9. So half an hour after sunset, we're still in the upper 70s and then low 70s out the door tomorrow morning. Not a big change out the door, but slightly warmer. Our Aaron Farrah First Alert Live Radar, we've got showers to the north of us making their way past Charleston with the sea breeze. We had a rain downpour here in Reidsville, just outside of Claxton as well. And the rest of us are dry, and there's just a slight chance of a downpour as we head through the rest of the evening. This front has become stationary, and it's just along the Savannah River. That's just going to fade away, and this high pressure that's sitting along the Virginia coastline, that's going to dominate for the next few days, and we're going to bake. Let's go ahead and take a look now as we look at the temperatures again. It's 90 in Savannah. It's 90 in Hinesville. What does it feel like? It feels like 93 in Hinesville. It feels like 92 in Savannah. It feels like 95 in Jessup, Statesboro, and 94 at Beaufort MCAS. So Wednesday morning, we do have some mid to upper 60s across the board, from 67 Hampton to 68 Baxley, Jessup 68, Savannah 71, as well as Richmond Hill, mid 70s for the beaches. Do you have a tea time tomorrow? We'll have mostly sunny skies and a very low end rain chance in the afternoon. It'll most likely be west of I-95 again. 76 at 8 a.m. 85 at 11 o'clock, and 2 o'clock, 90 degrees with a south-southeast breeze at 7. Forecast highs for tomorrow: 91 Jessup, Baxley, Hazelhurst, 91 Rincon, 92 Metter, 92 Reedsville, 92 Sylvania, 91 Darien, and into the low country, 83 Hilton Head versus 91 Beaufort Bluffton, and 92 Ridgeland to Estill. As you can see, the rain chances are very slim to none as we head through the rest of the evening, fading away with mostly clear skies overnight. Let's pause it here at 5 a.m. Just before the alarm clock goes off, we could have some patchy fog, nothing really to slow you down. Now, early models indicated a plume of moisture maybe trying to make its way up I-95, but now it just looks like a 10% chance of an inland downpour again as we head through our Wednesday afternoon. And then we'll set up for the same pattern on Thursday, but rain chances really ramping up as we head toward the weekend. 91, 94. We went ahead and made Friday and Saturday a first alert weather day, not for the storminess, which could pack a punch if it does really get enough instability in the atmosphere. It's because of the heat indices. 96 may feel like 102. 95 may feel like 105 in some locations. Beaufort, you're notorious for getting hot. It could feel like 110 on Saturday. So before the National Weather Service may issue a heat advisory, we're going to go ahead and give you that first alert because it's going to be hot, it's going to be humid, and we want you to be safe out there. We will continue to update this forecast throughout the evening, and those temperatures slide into the low 90s after our first alert weather weekend, and so that's a much needed break from those temperatures.
After almost 50 people were arrested in an immigration raid in the South Carolina upstate last week, one man who saw the entire ordeal firsthand is sharing new details. Randy Lindesbigler was working as a warehouse manager at Bernstein Von Seelen in Abbeville Wednesday morning when he says nearly 60 agents stormed into that facility. 48 people were taken into custody during what officials have deemed Operation Ghost Story. 6 of them have been indicted on charges including identity fraud. Now, Lindesbigler says agents detained dozens of people, himself included.
He had a gun and he pointed it at me like that. He said, "You are putting those cuffs on." And I look at him and "Are you going to shoot me?" And I stuck my arms out there like that. I've never seen nothing like that in my life. That's the only time I've ever had a gun pointed at me in my life.
2 of the 6 people indicted in the operation were also managers at the company. Lindesbigler was not arrested or charged. Attorney General Alan Wilson says some suspects knowingly hired illegal immigrants to work at the plant and helped them forge federal documents. In the aftermath of the raid, Lindesbigler says that more than 3/4 of his employees are afraid to return to work. Still to come, July 1st marks big changes for how federal student loans can be paid. We're going to break down the new repayment assistance plan. Well, if you have any federal student loans, you might want to listen up. There are some big changes coming to how you can pay back those loans, and they start next month. Brian Abel is in Washington with the steps you can take now to save as much of your cash as possible.
On July 1st, changes are coming to the federal student loan program.
Over the last number of years, this has been the most significant amount of change we've seen almost ever, but definitely since 1994.
And just about everyone will be impacted. For new borrowers, it means fewer types of repayment options will be available to you. Only 2, actually. All current income-driven plans will be gone, replaced with a single option of its kind, the Repayment Assistance Plan, or RAP, also the only plan offering loan forgiveness moving forward, with the standard repayment plan as the other option. If you currently have a federal student loan, this is where you may need to act sooner than later, as some types will be phased out. So experts say visit studentaid.gov to start.
First and foremost, find out what you have for student loans. If you're in repayment, take a look at what your repayment plan is. Kind of look at your overall strategy and identify what you have done or have been doing.
More than 7 million borrowers were part of the SAVE plan, the ill-fated repayment plan created by the Biden administration. If you are one of them, the clock will soon be ticking to make a decision or be automatically placed in what's very likely a more expensive plan.
If they choose not to take action, their loans will be put into what is called a standard repayment, which for most people would be 120 equal payments. Your payment amount could be significantly higher, and for most people, perhaps not attainable.
In Washington, Brian Abel reporting.
Ahead on the news at 4:30, our election coverage continues in South Carolina with a look at a high-profile race to replace a longtime sheriff. We'll have that story coming up.
Live from WTOC, the Southeast News Leader. The News at 4:30 starts now.
Thank you for joining us here on The News at 4:30. I'm Mike Seela. As votes continue to pour in across the Low Country, one race that has received a lot of attention is the race for Beaufort County Sheriff. There's going to be a new sheriff in the county for the first time in 28 years. Today's race is between Doug Seifert and JoJo Woodward to see who will get the Republican nomination. Aaron Dixon is following that race throughout the night. He joins us live with the latest on that and more.
I'm here outside the Bluffton Library, one of the 80 voting precincts spread out across the county. In this race to become the Republican nominee for sheriff, it features two men with over 20 years of law enforcement experience, and if they are elected, they both emphasize that they're going to focus on public safety and community involvement. Now, this morning, both men casted their ballots at their respective locations. Seifert cast it this morning in Hilton Head alongside his wife, while Woodward voted in Bluffton and sent us an additional video of him encouraging others to go out to the polls this morning. I spoke with both candidates about 10 days ago. Seifert, who received an endorsement from Sheriff P.J. Tanner and is running for the first time, says if he is elected, he wants to build upon what the sheriff's office already does. He also wants to continue to advance the technology the office uses and come up with new ways to recruit and retain employees, which could include a possible raise of salaries. For Woodward, this is the third attempt trying to get elected. If he wins, he wants to continue finding ways to keep the crime rate down, better manage of the traffic that is coming into and leaving the county, and be more transparent with what the office is doing and how they are handling taxpayer dollars. Now, both men will be south of the Broad tonight as they watch those results come in, and the winner will face off against Beaufort County School District member Alfonso Small in November. Live in Beaufort County, Aaron Dixon, WTOC News.
Thank you, Aaron. Right now, I want to get a check of that first alert forecast by giving you a live look, checking out the Savannah Riverfront sky cam. Seeing a bunch of cars out there on River Street looking over the city, and we want to check in on that forecast. Let's go to meteorologist Jamie Ertl.
It's only going to get hotter from here on out, Mike. We are looking at temperatures surging into the mid to upper 90s. Normally this time of year we are 89, and we're forecasting 91 for tomorrow, so not too far off the mark. It may feel like 95 in some cities. 94 Thursday. We up our rain chances ever so slightly, and then Friday and Saturday we're in the mid to upper 90s. A little bit of a heat wave for this time of year. Next 7-day rain chances show that we slowly go up through the rest of the work week, just a 10 to 20% chance Wednesday and Thursday. But then Friday, even though it may feel like 105 in some cities, hopefully we get some rain-cooled storms. And then on Saturday, a 40% chance of scattered showers and storms, 50% chance on Sunday into next work week. The rain chances drop off, and so do our temperatures. I'll have your complete first alert forecast coming up in minutes.
It's a new chapter for the Coast Guard's Marine Safety Unit Savannah today. After 3 years, a new commander has taken the helm after a change of command ceremony. Our Bronte Saransky spoke with both the incoming and outgoing leader about what's been accomplished and what they hope comes next.
This time-honored military tradition taking place here in Savannah marks the transfer of command from one Coast Guard leader to the next. For 3 years, he kept Savannah's waterways safe. Today, Commander Nathaniel Robinson handed that responsibility to someone new. In that time, Robinson says he's witnessed what he calls a top-notch maritime community in Savannah. Robinson said the delivery of Georgia Port Authority's 20 new ship-to-shore cranes stood out during his time in the hostess city. He also pointed to several active hurricane seasons, saying the experience of responding to a wide range of weather events helped shape his leadership, and now he's taking those lessons and experiences with him.
It's an immense sense of responsibility that I didn't think I could actually capture 3 years ago, but today I'm walking away with just a renewed sense of just wow and wonderment in the fact that I was given this awesome responsibility to do all of that.
Taking over command is Lieutenant Commander Demetrius Wiener, who most recently served as Executive Officer of Marine Safety Unit Port Canaveral in Cape Canaveral, Florida. We'll hear from him coming up on the news at 5:30. In Savannah, Bronte Sorotsky, WTOC News.
I want to give you a WTOC update now on the Savannah-Chatham County Public School System's budget concerns. In fact, 3 meetings to talk about millage rates have now been canceled. There were 2 millage rate hearings scheduled for June 17th and 1 for June 24th. Well, the school system says they are waiting to receive the final tax digest information from the county before they can calculate a millage rate. Now, if these meetings are rescheduled, of course, we'll let you know right here on WTOC. Coming up, President Trump says Iran shot down a U.S. helicopter near the Strait of Hormuz, and now he's threatening retaliation. We'll have a live report coming up from Washington, D.C. up next. An American helicopter shot down over the Strait of Hormuz with questions over who's responsible. And a $70 billion ICE funding package making its way through the Capitol. Joining us with that and more, we have WTOC national reporter Molly Martinez joining us with our headlines from the Hill. Molly, let's start in the Middle East. What happened to that helicopter and what does it mean for peace talks with Iran?
Hey, Mike, good to see you. Here's what we know. The U.S. Army Apache helicopter gunship was downed off the coast of Oman yesterday. Both of the crew members on board that chopper are safe and unharmed. This is according to Central Command. Here's what we don't know. How, why, or who downed that chopper. The president took to Truth Social blaming Iran, but mechanical failure or some other problem has not yet been ruled out. Central Command says they're investigating the incident, but the president says we will be retaliating. Iran said essentially, careful with those accusations. All of this comes just hours after the president said we were days away from a peace deal. It is unclear what this incident means for the progress of those talks.
Well, moving now to the massive immigration crackdown funding bill. Where does that stand?
So the path is now clear in the House for that $70 billion bill to pass. If it does pass, it would fund deportations and ICE enforcement through the remainder of President Trump's time in office. This bill has been a contentious one that Democrats have fought every step of the way. If you remember, it's also what caused that partial government shutdown. Now, the bill originally stalled because it included $1 billion for the president's ballroom and $1.8 billion for that victimization fund. Republicans realize those aren't terribly popular, especially during an election year, so this bill is just an immigration standalone. Its fate will likely be decided this week in the House.
And finally, Molly, I want to ask you about Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche. He could get that job full time now. Tell us about his nomination by the president and what happens next.
Yeah, from Todd Blanche to carte blanche. Todd Blanche used to be the president's personal lawyer, and he has been acting as interim attorney general since Pam Bondi was ousted. But many Democrats are worried about making that position permanent because he used to be the president's personal attorney. So they see this as a conflict of interest, that he'll use the Department of Justice to attack Trump's political enemies, which we've already seen play out. What happens now is that Blanche will face a congressional hearing before the Senate votes on whether or not to approve his confirmation.
All right, WTOC national correspondent Molly Martinez, thank you for your time.
Thanks, Mike.
Straight ahead, Tybee Island is trying to make the beaches safer and more accessible ahead of the summertime rush. We've got the latest on today's construction.
And a live look now from the WTOC Airport Skycam, 90 degrees and a couple of clouds out there. First alert forecast after the break. Welcome back. Let's take a live look from our Pooler Parkway sky cam over St. Joseph's Candler, and we're looking at a couple of fair weather clouds out there, but a lot more sunshine across the coastal empire and Low Country than this time yesterday. And a few of us are a little warmer as well. It's 90 Savannah, 90 Hinesville, 90 Claxton, 90 Vidalia, 92 Beaufort, and 92 in Richmond Hill. Now let's go ahead and take a look at our Farron Farah First Alert Live radar. Showers to the north of us and to the west of us, and will remain mostly dry as we head through the rest of the evening. I can't rule out a pop-up little downpour well west of I-95. This is that front that we've been tracking for a few days now, and last week hoping that it would slide into our area and cool us off a little bit, but it's stalled just to the north of us. Big T's. High pressure around Virginia Beach, and that is going to be the dominant weather feature as this front just kind of fizzles out over South Kakalaki. And high pressure, we're going to bake under it as we head through the next few days. Evening planner shows that we remain in the 80s until after sunset, 9 o'clock, 79 degrees. And a little star cloud coverage out there throughout the coastal empire and Low Country. We wake up to 67 Hampton, 67 Vidalia, 68 Baxley, Jessup, 71 Hinesville, 75 though Tybee and Hilton Head. In the afternoon, fair weather clouds again, a 10% chance of an inland downpour, 4, 5, 6. And we're still in the 90s. Even if you do get a cooling shower, it's just going to be steamy. The pavement's going to look pretty steamy out there, and then it'll be right back in the 90s. A southeast breeze, 5 to 10. Rincon, you make it up to 91. Statesboro, 92. Bluffton, Richmond Hill, Jessup, 91 degrees. Now, Jessup, it's a 30% chance. And that's because a little moisture plume might make its way up to 95 and cross that little boundary south of the Altamaha, but it's not going to be a lot of rain. At the beaches, we make it up into the mid 80s. Rip current risk is low. The water temperature just about 80 degrees, so pretty warm out there. 7-day forecast shows. Now, I said that we had a first alert weather day for Friday and Saturday. It is a little heat wave, and it's going to be pretty steamy. 96 on Friday, a 30% chance of showers and storms. We've been alluding to the fact that right around 16 and I-95, we could see heat indices of 105. That would require the National Weather Service to issue a heat advisory. So here's your first alert. And it may feel like 103 on Hilton Head as well, 105 in Darien. Even hotter on Saturday, 97 for the high with feels like temperatures approaching 110, most likely in Ridgeland, maybe Rincon, Savannah, 105 on Hilton Head. It may feel like 106 in Darien and 107 in Brunswick. So we want you to be heat ready. We want you to take breaks. We want you to be prepared. It's not summertime quite yet, but it is definitely going to feel like it. And hopefully those rainstorms, if we do get any, will cool you off as well.
Today, Tybee Island making an effort to make it easier and safer to get to the beach. Tybee Island officials say they're repairing the beach access crossover at Chatham Avenue. The crossover was closed today as the walkway became a construction site. 2nd Street and 19th Street crossovers just recently reopened. All crossovers are currently open, but people who were asked to watch their step because of the sizable drop-offs at several locations, including at Chatham Avenue. Right now, peanut farmers in Georgia are worried about a cosmic curveball that can throw off planting and leave millions of dollars worth of peanuts stuck underground. Growers like Mason Roberts use high precision GPS to plant and harvest peanuts since they grow below the surface. But solar flares, a violent burst of energy off the sun, can disturb the atmosphere enough to make GPS less reliable. Roberts says a little wobble in the GPS could be millions of dollars down the drain in the drop of a hat.
So you're looking at a $90 an acre loss if you are off the row. Or any of those instances to where you cannot get that crop out of the ground.
According to the USDA, Georgia grows half of the country's peanut crop, meaning the problem could go from the farm to your wallet. Still to come here on The News at 4:30. Experts say the high prices of travel aren't stopping vacationers from going this year. We're going to show you how they're getting around those steep prices trying to enjoy their summer. Well, if you've looked at flight prices, gas prices, or hotel rates lately, you might have a little wince. But despite those high costs, it turns out Americans just aren't willing to give up that summer vacation. Rachel DePompa explains how travelers are finding ways to make those summer memories.
According to a new survey from Bank of America, 77% of us are still planning to hit the road this summer. Mary Hines Drosch, the head of consumer and small business products for Bank of America, says to offset those costs, many Americans are making trade-offs and leaning on rewards points. She says many younger Americans are also travel stacking right now, which just means adding a few fun days onto a trip you already have to take.
So they're making the most of when they are traveling anyway. So if they have to go to a wedding, well, you've already bought your airfare or driven there, extending that to see the sights in the area. Or if you have a business trip, tag on a long weekend to explore a new spot you've never been to before.
Bank of America also found 46% of us plan to redeem rewards points this summer to help offset the cost of hotels or flights. Drosch says there are many little things you can do to save money.
Well, then you go to maybe instead of a 4-star hotel, a 3-star, or cut back on an excursion, cook in your hotel instead of going out every night. Other ways to really manage your budget and just prioritize the things that are most meaningful to you.
When budgeting, she recommends using the 50-30-20 rule. 50% of your take-home pay goes towards needs, things like housing, groceries, utilities. 20% goes into savings, and 30% is for wants, like that vacation. With this Watching Your Wallet, I'm Rachel DePompa.
Well, the Dive Savannah is celebrating 5 years of serving the Coastal Empire. In fact, they've donated more than $1.3 million in services to people facing homelessness, addiction, mental health crises, and family separation. The nonprofit says 2025 was its biggest year yet, providing nearly 29,000 free meals, helping to reunite almost 500 families and helping dozens of missing person cases. Leaders credit strong partnerships with local first responders, healthcare, and recovery groups, while noting they do it all without any government grants. Thank you, they say, for all the work you do, and congratulations on 5 years. Still ahead here on The News at 5, your South Carolina primary election coverage continues with live reports covering some of the biggest races in the state, including the governor's race and the race to replace Nancy Mace's U.S. Congressional District #1.